I'm Kriti. Currently, I'm running an organization which goes by the name of Amoli Trust, and we work for prevention of child sexual abuse by conducting awareness sessions for children, mainly for primary school children and from first standard to the fifth standard.
Hello, so how are you?
Hi, Rakshita. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing good too. So, what does the term Amoli mean?
Amoli, Amoli is signifies to Anmol, Amol. It means precious. And it was decided upon it was decided by all the founding members to name it Amoli because it's a very sweet name. That's what everybody came up with. Plus, it's a little girly, a little feminine. I'll say. I'll not say girly. It's a little feminine, and the thing is that it's the 8 of us who started Amoli. So I had a few friends from college and a few of them from school, and then I combined all of them and all of their expertises, and that's how the team was formed. And we are like 8 girls running this organization since past 3 years.
What was the inspiration behind starting this? Or I'll say what was the bigger picture?
The bigger picture, okay, so honestly the thing is that हम बचपन से बहुत टाइम से सुनते थे कि रेप का केस हो गया, आज this happened, that girl was raped, that person was raped, like these things. This is something that I've grown up listening to, and especially when I was probably in the 9th standard, that was the time when the Nirbhaya gang rape case happened. So at that time, processing the entire thing was a little tough, but with thoda time baad, with a little bit of research, I got to know that what it actually meant. But so the thing is that we all say that we want to remove rape, we want to remove sexual assaults, but how do we remove it, right? So what is going wrong in this with this whole thing is that people do not know that what is right and what is wrong and what is safe and what is unsafe for them. Right? They are not aware about consent. They're not aware that we are not like raping someone is wrong. I will say that there's lack of awareness among the masses, and that is why. And if you want to curb sexual assaults, if you want to curb any sort of sexual assault, I believe that you should hit the roots directly. And children, like you don't know, the children, the brains are like clay. Okay? You can mold them in any way you want. So if you teach them that this is wrong, that this is not correct, they will learn it, and that is how, like, I believe that this is the first step to them recognizing their own bodies and recognizing that what's wrong and what's safe and what's unsafe.
How did the beginning look like? Like, did you call a couple of friends that okay, chalo आज एक non-profit organization start करते हैं?
So ऐसा तो नहीं था, but हाँ, मतलब I told everybody कि I was very young when I wanted to start something. I was very young and I used to say जब मैं बुढ़ी होंगी तो मैं NGO खोलूंगी. But I did not realize that that dream will come true a little like way before. So I was already discussing these ideas with a few friends. Then I worked with one of my college societies, which actually shaped my idea a little bit because I realized, okay, yeah, this can be done, that can be done. And yeah, so that's how, like, I spoke to a few friends raat bhar. I just wanted to know whether they could work or not. And yeah, so that's what I did, that I just like found the expertise, basically what they were good at and how could they help Amoli, and that is how, like, we all gathered and started Amoli.
What steps did you exactly take?
So the first thing that I had to do was do the research and what was I gonna do about it. Like, I wanted to curb sexual abuse, agreed. I wanted to remove the sexual assault thing. But then what was the solution? So I found a problem statement, then the solution, and then I had to implement or execute it. So like the problem was found, the solution was also found. Okay, we'll do sessions. And then the implementation was a little tough. Like, I remember we went to this school, that was in April 2018. In fact, that was one of my aunt's school only. So she was a teacher there. So I just spoke to her कि मुझे एक session लेने दो, मुझे बस check करना है. Honestly, that was a really bad session. हम भी बहुत awkward थे, बच्चे भी बहुत awkward थे, हमारे लिए भी बहुत नया था. हम घर में भी, मतलब not everybody talks about this at home either, right? और हम छोटे बच्चे से जाके बात कर रहे हैं, और वहाँ पे there was another struggle altogether. We saw the education gaps, the major education gaps that exist in our country, that exist in our education system, इतने ज़्यादा visible थे that it was really like heartbreaking. I'll honestly say that. Whether it was the infrastructure or it was the education or it was hygiene in school. So there were a lot of things that we saw and we could not really react upon at that time. But honestly, there were like 5 of us doing the session for just 30 children. And it was not nice. It was not nice at all. Plus, at that time I had made this script, the entire thing that had to be made. It was just one person's point of view, and believe me, today that script does not exist only because it has changed so much, because we realize that what is it that children want. Plus, when you get new people on board, man, you get new views, you get new point of views, you get new perspectives that yes, this can be done, and then you get perspective from each and every background. So that's it. So like I come from an engineering background. One of us has done economic honors. One of us has done maths honors. One of us has done BCom honors. So we have a lot of different perspectives on board, I'll say. One of us, like 2 of us have done BBA, 3 of us are engineers. So I'll say the more too many cooks follow the broth wali baat nahi hai, but just that we went on the same line, and it took us a lot of time. See, it took us like 15-20 meetings at my place, eating and drinking Coke and coffee to actually finalize ki, okay, this needs to be done. So yeah, so like we did our first session in April, then we took a break of 4 months just to refine the script to make it better for children. And then probably in August we started doing regular sessions. That's what we did.
I guess even that first Amoli session was important because it had a threshold for you that okay, these are the points where we are.
It was a very learning session. I'll say it was like the biggest learning that we've ever gotten till now, because see, I had put in okay, ye bhi dal do, wo bhi dal do, but I did not realize that the kids, they're not me, they're not you and me sitting in front and they'll listen to everything. So like that perspective also came in mind ना कि सिर्फ हम अपने perspective से नहीं सोच सकते, हम एक छोटे बच्चे के perspective से सोचना है.
Being an engineer, we always think that the product we are making would be used by engineers only.
So yeah, yes, that's why. But yeah, it was a very learning experience, not only for me, for the entire team. We realized how it's going, how it's not going. Yeah.
Okay, and that brings me to the next question. Like, what were the other major roadblocks that you faced? Because although you, like, all of you guys brought a lot to the table, but these were some areas that you might not have explored before. So
we do not have an expertise, right? So whenever we went to schools, we were questioned about our credibility as well. That what do you do? You're not a psychologist. Oh, then what are you teaching our children? Why are you teaching our children this? You're not a teacher. So we faced ये वाला चीजें. Teachers have misbehaved also. ये वाला भी हो चुका है. And थोड़ा हम जहाँ जाते हैं, there are little risky areas as well. Like cars and autos नहीं जाते हैं proper अंदर. So we have to walk like another 1.5 kilometer on foot to reach the schools, and then people there misbehave with us. So it becomes very difficult for a 20-21 year old to actually manage that. So like age has been a factor because we were young people. बहुत questioning होता है कि why are you doing this? What are you doing this? And then teachers also question a lot of times कि आप जो सिखा के जा रहे हो हमारे बच्चों के दिमाग में गलत चीजें डाल रहे हो. So these are a lot of things that we have actually faced. And apart from that, honestly speaking, the Amoli has a very good team. It has like an incredible team which works day and night. Like whenever they have the time, I'm working full time. Half of the core team, like not half, almost everybody is working full time, but they're still giving their time to Amoli. Even being in different time zones, they're giving their time to Amoli. So I believe that it's just the love for children that's making us work every day, and we're doing every day. We're not earning a single penny from it. We just doing it out of our love for the cause and out of love for children, because come on, these are the people who build the nation for tomorrow, right? So honestly, that's what we do.
So you started with a team of 8, and like how big is the team now?
Yeah, so we started in April 2018, got registered in September. Then I was offered a few schools by one of the local politicians. So at that time, we decided to actually expand the team because now we were getting more schools and everything was happening. So we did our first recruitment in October itself, October 2018, and it was like just a team of around 50 to 60 people at that time, and that to like friends of friends, friends of friends. That's how we started our first team. But then it grew slowly. Like currently we have over 170, 180 volunteers and a community of over 300 volunteers. So that's what it is.
And how did you manage to like have such a big team? Because
Excel sheets. And so yeah, recruitment drive, the nice, the fun, the nice also. And we've been managing, like it's like now it is normal for us to manage huge teams. I don't really know how to say that how we have been managing the teams, but I guess we have just been like it's been fine, I'll say. Yeah.
and like in pre-COVID times, what all places were you covering?
We covered most of South Delhi, almost all the MCD schools in South Delhi. Like if you've heard about this place it's Sangam, where it's near Sainik Farms, like right next to Sainik Farms. So Sangam Vihar is like 30 minutes from the metro station. So we used to like go 7 people in one auto, travel 30 minutes, and then they used to drop us Kafi Bar. Then we used to walk for 1.5 kilometers to reach the schools. So we've done a lot of schools in South Delhi and a lot of schools in North Delhi, both of them.
Okay, and like when you start something new, you have to share that vision of yours with everyone else. Like you are not paying everyone, and everyone is coming just for like their own I would say own happiness and satisfaction. So
Yeah.
it's important to make them feel that you are like a part of a bigger purpose or something bigger than just money. So how did you manage to share that vision? Because it's a difficult job to inspire people and instill that purpose in everyone else as well.
Honestly, Rakshit, like I'll tell you, if you would have had done an offline session with us, na, like you just did one. People like who were not ready to wake up for 8:40 lab classes now, they were waking up at 5:40 to just to conduct these sessions. Honestly, it's not me; it's the children who make them work. And plus, a lot of them come for certificates as well. A lot of them need it for their post graduation. So I will not say that. So that's also a part of motivation. I'll say like that's also what inspires them. Honestly, it's the children. Like if you do one session, you feel like coming back. Nobody. It's not like that I'm very great that I'm making people stay and I'm motivating and inspiring them. You do one session and you realize that, oh my god, I want to do this again, because children, they give us a lot of love. And secondly, when you see the real-time impact now, like you've just finished a session and there's a child standing right in front of the door to speak to you that I have been a survivor or I have been through this, then you feel, yeah, yes, of course I've done something good, that a child is coming up to me and I'm able to give them a solution. So this is really important. Like this is one of the motivation that everybody else has. And secondly, I'll say that we're very fun people. We're a very youth-oriented organization. I like if you say that I as a leader give a lot of responsibilities to everyone else, that it's on you. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Just keep me in the loop. So I think that is one thing that is really important for anyone to run an organization, that you give people the independence that they want to have, and like whatever they wish to learn, I'm ready to like learn with them or make them learn whatever they require. So I think that is what makes them like stay with us, I'll say. Like even when there's not even a single penny involved and they could have invested the time that they're investing in here to some other place where they could have gotten money or something like that.
That happiness feels worthwhile.
Yeah, so that is like, in fact, I'm not the right person to say like talk about this. It's I would like love to get a volunteer on board and make them tell you that happiness is something that you will never get. Like whatever, like food gives me happiness, but that happiness is more than anything else. That's what making people stay with us.
Since child sexual abuse is such a sensitive topic to talk about, so like how do you manage, or like how easy or difficult it is to talk to children about such a sensitive issue?
See, it's very difficult. You talk about private body parts in front of a child, they start laughing. No? Okay, but you make them realize that it's something very normal. You do not have to laugh or shame about it. Okay? And honestly speaking, Rakshit, it's not only children that it's difficult to make understand. It's also like even when we do training sessions, the volunteers as well. They are also little skeptical about learning all this, even though they've joined us with their own willingness. But then also there is some sort of hesitation which comes, and it's normal, I'll say, because we have not been like people have not been normalized in the same way. They've not been normalized, and that is what I and the team like we want to change, and that is that we want to normalize the entire air around this. Ki, oh, we cannot talk about our 4 private body parts. We cannot talk about all this. So I think that's very important that you make them comfortable in this space that they're living in, and you make them understand that what we are talking about is very normal. Every human being, every human being has it, and it's very very normal. So I believe, yeah, that's what it is.
What do parents feel about it? Like you are teaching something, and it's often difficult to it's often difficult for parents to talk about to their own children. So like that brings me down to the question: what like are the parents welcoming or?
So we have a concept of caregivers at Amoli. Caregivers are the ones who take care of the child, either the guardian, teachers, whoever takes care of the child, or whoever the child confides in and everything. Parents, we've had both the sets. Parents who have been totally against it and who have been totally for it. And like we have been able to interact with parents more during the pandemic, during the COVID times, because with the online thing, parents are usually around only, so we're able to speak to them easily. However, when we used to do offline sessions, they were in MCD schools. Like reaching the parents was not possible at that time. But there have been instances that when a parent has come to pick the child up from the school, they've also like stood there out there in the sun just to see whether what would be teaching. One of the mothers, she came to me and said कि thank you so much madam, आप हमारे बच्चे को ये सिखा रहे हैं, हम नहीं सिखा पाते, घर पे हम बात नहीं कर पाते. तो I mean, I'll say we've had both the pro and the con, not the pro and the con, for and against the whole concept.
So as you also told, since the COVID-19 started, the scenario changed a lot after like COVID happened. So do you feel like it was good, or like it had its own pros and cons?
It has its own pros and cons. So with the online thing now, the thing is that we are able to speak to parents, we're able to speak to the teachers, we're able to speak to the caregivers, we are able to like make them understand that it's not only our job to make them understand because हम एक बारी दो बारी आएंगे उसके बाद हम नहीं आएंगे. It's them who stay with them. So I'll say that this has gotten better, that we're able to contact their caregivers. However, offline sessions were a bliss, honestly. So what happens is like just imagine a 20-year-old, a 19-year-old going early in the morning, sleepy, metro में बैठ के बच्चा सो रहा है कि ओहो इतना दूर जाना पड़ रहा है. Honestly, when you enter the classroom now, there's an energy which comes back from the classroom. I don't know if I'm sounding too weird or something like that, but it's like the energy exchanges. Like when you speak, the children speak back, and that's what gives you happiness. That's a better thing. Plus you're able to make them understand better. आपके सामने बैठा बच्चा, आप उसको बोल दोगे कि ऐसा नहीं ऐसा करना है. There are a lot of things. Also, a lot of times abusers are from households only. They live in the same house with their abuser or their relatives. Like that's what the stats say. Most of them go underreported, but yeah, this is the sad truth. So what if the child is doing this session with one of their own abusers? So like that is one thing, and children are not able to. So with online now, then when we used to go to schools, children used to line up to tell that this has happened, that has happened. But with the offline, with the online thing, we have not been able to like capture that thing. So yeah, that's a huge con that we have. because there are no children coming up to us and telling that, okay, Didi, this has happened or that has happened. That's a huge thing. Plus, offline sessions, they were really nice. I'll just say that. I think everybody misses the offline world. I mean, who enjoys the online world? Please tell me. I want to meet them and I want to speak with them. Even I want to see what are you enjoying in this online world?
If I talk about anyone like who's seeing this video, how can he or she become a part of this wonderful movement?
You can become a part of us by just contacting us on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you find us. We're available on all social media. We have a website as well. Baki, what we can do is probably you can leave something in the description that whoever wishes to join, they can just add themselves here or something like that. And yeah, I think that's it. Baki, you should have the man to actually, like, you should have the I'll say तुम्हारा मन होना चाहिए change लाने का. We'll train you for that. We have extensive training sessions for children. We have psychologists on board who guides us that this is the right thing or that's not the right thing. So it's a very we have done, like, we've been running for over 3 years, and we have. So if you want to like work for this cause, I think you just have to tell us that we want to work and we will train you for it. So yeah.
So well, Amoli completed 3 years of spreading awareness and happiness amongst children. So well, congratulations for that. And
Thank you so much.
What does the future look like?
The future looks like, so we have been working. So now, since we are very comfortable with children and everyone, so we've been working on caregivers, on how to teach caregivers on about how can they speak to their children about CSA, about prevention of CSA, and if the child has been a victim, how to deal with that. So that is what we are currently, like, that is what I have in plan for the next 6 months. And apart from that, we're trying to like get into something into the legal aspects of CSA, since we do not have any expertise on board, and we've been trying to like form a team for that as well. So yeah, that is what we are actually working on. And apart from that, the schools are already happening. See, we have like schools all year round the clock, and that's already happening.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is there anything you feel you could, like, this question is particularly addressed to you? Is there anything you feel you could have done differently in the beginning that you got to learn about later on? Maybe some things that you feel, if I might have known before we started, we might have been 2 to 3 steps ahead of what we are today.
I think it was cracking the government way of getting these schools. So like it took us 1 year to actually realize, oh yeah, this is how we can fetch schools. So like we were, I think I'll say we were a year late to fetch schools. So that is something that I wish I could have had learned before. And apart from that, I'll say I've learned along with it. I'd never had any sort of experience in non-profit organizations. I come from an engineering IT background. Okay? I do not hold any sort of expertise in this domain at all. So I've learned with it, I've grown with it. Everybody has learned with it and grown with it. Nobody knew about it. So I don't think that I could have done anything differently. I just believe that I've been learning since the beginning of Amoli, and I'll keep learning. And Amoli is never ending, that's for sure. And yeah, I think that's it.